Hello everyone, welcome to Tkinter Hub. In the previous video, we have created generate student card functionality. So in the previous video, we have created generate student card functionality. For example, if a student will create account. After successfully creating account, student will get a generated student card. In the student card, will be mentioned student basic information, and also student picture will be added. So in this video, we will create save student card functionality, that student can save student card in image PNG format. And also in this video, we will create print student card functionality, that student can print student card image in hard copy. And also in this video, we will work with student login page. We will add some functionalities in student login page. Let's start to create. So here is student card page function. Let's start to create, save student card function. So we need to ask to user, for select a particular directory, where user want to save student card. So we will use ask directory file dialog, for ask user to select a directory. And also here we will check, did user has selected directory or not. If user has selected directory, then we will save student card image in user specified directory. Let's see how we will save student card. Using this argument, we will save student card image. This argument will a image object. So this image object argument, we are getting from draw student card function. Basically in the draw student card function, we are generating student card. And after generating student card, here we return student card image object. Now if you want to know how we are passing this returned image object to student card page function as argument, then you must watch previous video, where we have created these functions. This complete project playlist link will be available in the description box. So this image object argument have a save function. Save function will take a file name argument, for save image file. Here I will pass user specified directory, with image file name. Here I have set this file name, you can set any file name. Let's add this function to save student card button. Now let's test it. Let's create a student account for generate student card. Here you can see student card generated. Let's save student card. Here I will save student card in this directory. Let's check student card save or not. Here you can see, student card saved successfully. Now we will create print student card functionality, which will print student card image, through printer. For print student card image, Also we need to ask to user for save student card image in a directory. So here I will use this code, for ask user to save student card image in a directory. After saving student card image in user's specified directory, we will print student card image. For print student card image, we will use win32api module. Let's import win32api module. Win32api is not a built-in module. You need to install this module. I have already installed this module. You can follow this command for install win32api module. Win32api.ShellExecute function allows you to execute various operations, such as opening files or printing documents. So we will use this function to print a specified image file. ShellExecute function will take at least 6 arguments. As 0, the first argument represents the Windows handle. As print, the second argument indicates the action which will perform, which is printing. As image path, the third argument specify image path which will print. As none, the fourth argument represents the optional parameter, which are not used in this case. As dot, the fifth argument indicates the working directory, which will set the current directory. As 0, the sixth and last argument represents the show command, specifying the default behavior. Let's add this function to print student card button. Now let's test it. Here you can see student card generated. If I click print button, I will save student card in desktop. You can see, generated student card opened in Windows Print Pictures application. You can print out generated student card using this Windows application. Simply here you can select your printer, which you have connected. And here you can set your paper size. And here is few more options you can customize. Simply you can print this student card by clicking this print button. So I have not connected any printer, I will click cancel. So we have created save student card and print student card functionality. Now press subscribe button if you have not subscribed Tkinter Hub. Let's continue. Now if I will click this close button, then student card page will be closed. But now you can see, window is totally empty. So if the user will close student card page, then we will display student login page. Let's do this. Here you can see close button. Here we have created this lambda function for destroy student card page. Now we will create a new function for close button. Basically in the close page function, we will destroy student card page, and then we will call student login page function. When student card page will be destroyed, then student login page will place, at the position of student card page. And also here we will update root window, because some time may changes will not show, in TK window. Let's add this function to close button. Now let's test it. You can see, student card page closed, and then student login page appear. So we have done this problem. So now we will create login account functionality. For example, if a student will enter ID number and password for login account. Then we will check, student entered ID number and password is correct or not. And also we will display warning and message, if the student given input will invalid. Let's start to create. Here is student login page function. So in the login account function, we will check student entered ID number and password validation. In some previous videos, we have created this function. Basically this function will take a ID number argument, and then it will check given ID number as exists in database. If ID number will exists, it will return existing ID number. If ID number will not exists, it will return empty value. So we will use this function, for verify student entered ID number as valid or invalid. Here we will check condition, if check ID already exists function, will return existing ID number, means not a empty value. Then here we will consider, student entered ID number, is a valid or correct ID number. So if this condition will false, then means this function returned empty value. So here in the else condition, we will consider student entered ID number, is invalid or incorrect. Let's add this function to login button. Now let's test it. Here I have entered a random ID number. I don't know this ID number is exists in database, because in some previous videos we have created many students' accounts. Let's verify this ID number. Here you can see, this ID number is incorrect. Let's see example, with enter a valid ID number. So here I have a student card, which we have generated earlier. So absolutely this account ID number will exists in database. Let's verify this ID number. Here you can see, this ID number is correct. Now we will highlight ID number entry box, when a student entered ID number will invalid. And also we will show message box, for show entered information is incorrect. So here in the else condition, we will highlight ID number entry box. So I will copy some code from add account page. So in the add account page function, also we are highlighting entry boxes in input validation function. Here I will copy this function. Using these two attributes we will highlight entry box. Here we will set highlighting color red. And also we will bind this function to ID number entry box. Basically this function will remove highlight warning, if entry box will be highlighted and user will try to enter correct information. And also we will display message box. Now let's test it. Here I will enter random ID number. Let's verify this ID number. Here you can see, message box appear, and also entry box highlighted. You can see, I have just edit text from entry box, then highlight warning removed. So now we will check student entered password, for a valid ID number. So we have used this function for check, entered ID number is correct or not. Now we will create a function, which will match student entered password, for a valid ID number. For create a function, which will verify password, we will use this function code. Check valid password function, will takes ID number and password argument. So we will make few changes in SQL query. So here we will match password for a valid ID number. Here we will pass password argument which we are taking from this function. This query will check, in each of column, if the ID number and password will match in a column. Then it will return existing ID number and password, and otherwise it will return empty value. Let's test this function. So here if ID number will valid, then here we will match, student entered password. So here we will pass student entered, ID number and password arguments to this function. Here if the check valid password function will return existing ID number and password, then we will consider password is correct. And in the else condition, means check valid password function, return empty value. So here we will consider, password is incorrect. Now let's test it. Here we will enter this student account ID number and password. I have entered incorrect password. Let's see. Here you can see, ID number is correct, but password is incorrect. Let's if I enter correct password. Here you can see, ID number and password is correct. So now also we will highlight password entry box. When entered password will incorrect, and also we will display message box. Here you can see, message box appear, and also entry box highlighted. And that's for this video. In the next part of video, we will create a functionality, which will help the student, for recover their forget password. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe our channel for more videos.